Alright, so this is a quick tutorial on how to get the animated sprites working. So what we need to do is that you need to go to the account I can't script. That's where we're going to be uploading all of the sprite maps for all the Pokemon in the game. So I'm going to go to the first one that I haven't done yet, which is for Alligator, and I'll be doing the front end. And also the front and back, it's the exact same thing, but I'm doing the front end just so you can see the animation more clearly, because back animations tend to be a lot more subtle. So anyway, now that we have these two open, we need to go to Studio, and what we need to do is that we need to go to, we just need to get one of these, and also I would prefer if you'd make them in this team create, just ask me for the invitation, because because this is where you have like the templates, let's say, and I would be very happy if you'd make them in these templates rather than on your own, for the sake of efficiency and for the sake of everything staying consistent. So now we're gonna take one of these, copy it, and then we're just gonna paste them over. And obviously we need to rename them. So it's for Alligator Front GUI and for Alligator Shiny Front GUI. And it's very important that you keep these camel cased, and camel cases when you have the first word lowercase and all subsequent words uppercase with no spaces in between. It just makes it a lot more easier to read while programming and easier to work with in general, at least for me. So next we're going to go down to the frame, and we need to rename it's still set at Froakie, so obviously it's not a Froakie, it's for Alligator. So rename it to whatever the Pokemon is. Mine's for Alligator in this case. Then we have our sprite scripts, we'll get into later. But anyway, we're just going to take the regular for Alligator, and then what we're going to do is that we're going to click the image here, scroll down to image, then we're going to go back here, take the Roblox link, copy it, and then we're just going to paste it over. And then we have for Alligator. But obviously, for Alligator is a lot bigger than the space we have, so what we do is that we use the image rectangle size property. And we're just going to, I'm just going to give a ballpark estimate because I've been doing this for a while, so it's probably like an 80, 100, or somewhere around there. And then it's probably going to cut off when it moves around a little bit, so we'll make it more like a 79, 97 probably. And then, like you'll be able to eyeball these as you do more of them. A lot of this is just going back and forth, seeing what works, what won't work. And then there's the offset property too. So it's just saying like how much extra to the left or extra to the right do you want the Pokemon. It just depends. You'll see when you have errors, obviously. If I bring it up like by 10, you can kind of see the next for Alligator. You don't want that. You just want to have the one for Alligator shown, so it looks like it's a full animation, not just a sprite map. So next we have the code, and this is kind of complicated, but not really, because you only care about these 6 values. Everything else you don't really have to pay attention to, but there are comments in case if you want to understand how it actually works. So anyway, what we have is that we have the X increment and Y increment, and that pretty much means every single frame change, how far to the right or left is it going to go. So a good ballpark in this is just, picking out the, where is it? The image rectangle size. If you just take that property and do it for like a ballpark, so if it's like a 79, 97 type thing, it should be kind of close, but not really. You can see there is still a bit of error in that, so we're gonna have to change it. It's again something you eyeball over time. You just get used to it. Like as you do more of them, they get progressively easier and easier. Because wow, that's really lucky for me actually. So this is what we have. There's actually no black lines around too. The leg's a little bit cut off, but honestly, by this point, it might not even matter that much. So I'll stop that. And then, okay, also, next we have like the local bases, and that pretty much, that's the same thing as the offset. And it's ideal if you have the offset, I've got that backwards actually. It's ideal if you have the offset be the same as, the X val base and the Y val base, because then you might see a little bit of a shake, because obviously they're two different properties, or they're the same property but different values, which would change it. And next we have max rows and max frames. Now, different Pokemon have different amount of frames. Obviously, for Alligator, 8, 64. But then if you go to one like Fennekin, it's a lot smaller, where it's like a 5 by 5, where there's only 25. So to get around that, what we do is that we have a max frame property. So I'm going to set 64, and then we know there's 8 rows in it from counting earlier. So I'm going to put 8 there. So next we should get like the full fluid animation, and I think that looks good. Especially when you have to do a lot of these, you know, my standard is just like having it be good enough rather than perfect for the sake of time. So anyway, we have this one done. So now we're gonna bring the next for alligator, the shiny one over. And again, same, you know, same. We have to go open the shiny one, copy it, and then oops, go to the image property and paste it over. So now we have shiny for alligator. So again, it's really easy when you go from the normal to shiny, because all you have to do really is just copy and paste the different properties over. 99% of the time they are the same, but there are occasionally one or two exceptions in terms of the size of the rectangle. So now that we have that, the also easy part is that you can pretty much just copy and paste this code over. So just copy and then highlight all of this and paste. And then in theory it should be the same, but sometimes it's also different. So let's just test that. It looks kind of good. Oh, but there is a small flash if you didn't catch that. And that means there's one too many. I think there's only 63 frames for some reason in this one, rather than 64 in the normal for alligator. So what we do is that we go to our max frames property, we change it from 64 to 63, and now it should work perfectly. Yeah, it's good. So next, afterwards, I just have a organization thing for this, shiny front sprites here, shiny normal sprites, or normal front sprites here, and just place them in their designated folder, and then that's it.